Hi,
Hello,
I'm Julian.
and I am Tom.
We are Team Binge. We are here to talk about Silo, Season 3, Episode 1. We're back in the giant hole in the ground, Tom, and everything looks really good. This episode was called Who Are You?, which I think we should all sit down and just think about for a moment. Who are we? What are we trying to be? We did Seasons 1 and 2, so inevitably we're doing Season 3. We're excited. Tom and I both watched. This one, I don't know if you noticed, Tom, was Graham Yost, who a lot of times these shows, like if they're on long enough, they kind of lose their creator, they lose their head writer, but Graham Yost has been with them from the beginning, and I think he intends, as most of them do, to see this all the way through. So very similar vibes to the first couple of seasons, and I enjoyed this episode of television. It was a bit of a reset, but Tom, just to remind people, you have read the book series that this is based on. I once read one of them, but we are going into the show clean. So what did you think of coming back to Silo in Season 3?
I loved it, man. It's fun to be back in this world. To your point, like Graham Yost definitely has a very specific style, and I do believe they shot both Season 3 and 4 almost back to back, so we should hopefully get 4 pretty quickly. But yeah, Hugh Howey wrote a trilogy of books based off of this show, and they are absolutely fantastic, and I think I'm interested to see where the show goes. I don't think they have to follow the books perfectly, and I do think they might be taking some changes and twists and turns, which I am here for. But I will try to do my best to kind of input little Easter eggs or things that kind of came from the book or might have differed without doing any, obviously, spoiler stuff. But yeah, great to be back in the Silo. We did talk a little bit about this in our recap pods about our kind of fear of what happened in Season 2, where they jump back between Silo 17 and 18. That kind of messed with the flow a little bit. I definitely think this season's going to potentially have some of those woes with going back to, we'll call it the before times, and then back to the Silo. But I do love where kind of our characters are and kind of resetting, to your point, about where we're at. But the before time stuff I think is fascinating, and I'm here for it.
Sure, or the after time. We don't know. They haven't given us a specific date, Tom. So, we could have bombed Iran, gone into the silos, gotten out of the silos, not learned our lesson, and bombed Iran again. So, they say time is cyclical, and maybe that's what happened in this one. But for the sake of this show, rather than jumping back and forth, Tom and I are going to go through it. We're going to talk through the Silo timeline, and then we're going to go to what we are calling the before times. Even though it might be the after times, it might not even be the same universe. Who knows? The show may be throwing a real curveball at us. But that's how, just so we're not jumping back and forth. And that's mainly because, I'll speak for me, I'm pretty dumb, and I don't want to get confused. So let's stick with the
I'll speak
Silo
for you, too.
time.
You are pretty dumb.
That's hurtful. That's so hurtful. All right, well, let's dive into it. And I just want to say that, Season 1 we really loved. Season 2, I think we were a little less in love with. So Season 3, kind of like what I mentioned, it felt like a little bit of a reset. We're dealing with, and I don't know how you feel about this, Tom, is we know things that Juliet, our main character, doesn't know. And this happens in certain TV shows. Do you like having more information than your main character as they try to work things out? Do you like that perspective? And I'll give you an example. Like, you were a big fan of the first Knives Out movie, which, rather than being a normal whodunit, they kind of let you in on it in the beginning, and then you watch it unfold. And I feel like we're doing that a little bit here, just from a perspective of, hey, we know what Juliet doesn't know, and she's trying to work it out. Do you enjoy being in that place as an audience?
I think there's elements of it that can be fun, but I find it almost maybe more frustrating than anything. My assumption is we're going to get past this memory loss stuff pretty quick, but I do like the callbacks that they're doing about her kind of taking these pills, or there being something in the water. I think we joked about the Arrested Development quote. She's essentially just getting forget-me-nows.
Sure. Sure.
But yeah, I'm hoping we don't stay in this vein for too long, because it is kind of frustrating. We want her as a character to gain more agency and move forward.
Yeah, because she was so great.
Stuck.
Yeah, because she was so great in the other seasons. I'm going to go the other way, Tom. I hope it's 10 episodes of her just being like, who am I? What am I doing? Where did my dad die? I had a dad. I didn't. What's going on? I just want 10 straight episodes of that. I think that'll be compelling television.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So we wake up in the silo with Juliet, and you get a real sense of, and I guess they do a recap. The last moment we were with her is her and Bernard were in that fire chamber, and we get some like callback in this episode. But essentially now she's being handled with like kid gloves. She doesn't remember what happens. We've got this nurse that every day is, I'm just going to say this, Tom, and you and I have been against big pharmacy for a long time. Question Correct. What's in your vitamins, all right? Does anyone even know what vitamin C stands for? I know I don't, and I've been taking Control. It for years, all right? Yeah. Exactly, thank you. But her nurse is just like, hey, take these. And she's like, oh, are they Altoids? And she's like, sure, they're Altoids. Take them with your water. So we've got like the double pills and water here, both of which have been brought up as memory controlling devices previously, right?
Well, and I like this too because, like, at a first glance, you're like, oh, she just got some sort of amnesia or she was in a coma or something like that because of the trauma of the fire. But, like, that's none of it. Like, all of this is just, like, Camille and Sims essentially kind of being the new, like, puppet masters and trying to control her and using her very similar to how Bernard did, like, just as a figurehead. Like, when she left the silo and Bernard's like, she's a hero, she's blah, 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 just using it for his own means to do what he needs to do for the head of IT.
Speaking of Bernard, Tom, is the only bit of Tim Robbins we're going to get in this show is him being strangled to death or suffocated? Is that it? Do I get no more Tim Robbins for this whole show?
I don't know. It definitely seems it, unless there's other portions of that little flashback that we get. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a flashback.
There's
maybe
4 shots of him getting strangled. Like that's
he gets credited for it.
Oh man, bring me evil Tim Robbins. I love him so much as Bernard. We get this cool reminder shot where Juliet is standing in front of the mirror and they like pull back and they don't show us the bank of people watching cameras, but they do remind us of like, hey, there is this mirror where I guess she's in a different room than the sheriff's room, but it's reminding us that, hey, all of these mirrors used to have cameras, even though something was mentioned later on by Sims, which we'll touch on them, but it's just interesting that they're like, hey, reminder, mirrors, bad. Also, everyone got promoted while Juliet was outside the silo. It's like you murder Marnes, you murder the mayor, you murder the judge, and murder. Everyone gets bumped up a level. Pretty good. I got to be honest. There should probably be more murder in this silo if you want to get promoted. This is insane. So
it is pretty great.
Go through our who are our new, I guess not big bads necessarily because we don't know their motivation, but who's in charge of what now, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, we get the little scene later where they kind of essentially establish a council. So we do get some like newer members too that are involved in other areas of the silo that I wasn't necessarily expecting, and I'm kind of glad we do. But I mean, the big changes here are Mayor Nichols. So Juliet essentially is becoming mayor, but very much right now as a figurehead.
Tom, did you vote for her? I want to know right now. Did you vote for her?
It was uncontested, so it didn't matter.
much
like a Widow's Bay. Yeah.
Tom, Widow's Bay uncontested.
But the big thing here, and we talked about this, is like both Sims and Camille, or Robert Sims, right? So the Sims family go into the vault, and essentially the algorithm or this voice puts Camille in charge, right? Like she's the head of IT, and now Robert Sims is the judge. So it's very, very interesting. So I feel like almost everything that's kind of going on with maybe the tweaking of the pact and everything else is really this algorithm pushing this stuff to Camille. And I love this actress. I didn't write down her name, but I love the person playing Camille. I'm kind of glad we're going to get probably more of her in.
Yeah, no, she's great. Common's great. They're all great. Is the whole point of the show is this another show much like Mission Impossible that's just telling me AI is bad and we shouldn't let AI put us in silos and rule our lives? Is that what I'm supposed to get from this show at the end, Tom?
I don't know. It's AI's doing pretty good so far, at least with this silo. Not so much with 17, but...
I think 17 actually got the best outcome that most of these silos can hope for, if I'm being honest.
A little bit of freedom, yeah.
So we have Juliet being kind of escorted around. Camille is like her handler. It's like she's Buster Bluth in Veep. She's like over his shoulder being like, now thank your family now that you won this Emmy, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. This is great. She's just like, this is this is your best friend. Tell them you like them and you're their best friend. Like, I loved how Camille was handling all of this, and everyone's super excited. We do at one point, and I think I noted this right, we're 3 months from her coming back, right? That's the time allotment.
I think there's like a conversation later on we get with Knox and Shirley where they do give us that specific time frame, which is nice. It gives us a little bit of breather room from the season finale.
So every day for the last 3 months, she walks into this room and people cheer for her, Tom? Doesn't this seem, I mean, this would go to anyone's head, right? I know that Juliet doesn't remember anything, so it's a new experience for her every day, but I mean, she's like a cool celebrity now, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they don't do this every day. Maybe this like a 3-month reunion. There's like every month they do a bigger soiree for her, but it's lovely. And she's just very like monotone, leveled, like kind of waving or whatever, but just kind of doing her part. She doesn't seem to have any sort of agency or doesn't know what to really do outside of maybe try to gain back those memories.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned that a lack of memory also took personality, because Juliet, that we knew and loved from season 1 and 2, had some personality. In fact, a feisty personality. She wasn't afraid to, I don't know, run up and down stairs, punch people. I don't know. Did you ever punch anyone? Anyways,
probably.
She was great at swimming. I know that. And I don't know. I'm interested in this whole memory loss play as to we've kind of removed her personality. And I guess I don't know how medication works. Does vitamin C take away your personality as well as your memory, Tom? I don't know.
Yeah, we got traces of this drug in the second season, and we know that it, like in certain doses, can mess with memory. And I think the more greater thing is like the smaller doses being in the water, like we talked about, like that is essentially keeping everybody in the silo relatively at bay and kind of messing with their long-term memory. But I would assume, like in this scene, I think when Juliet's kind of being paraded in that little cafeteria area, there's almost like these I don't know, maybe our new mini rebels that are talking to a new character, and they kind of trade like the badge that she had maybe in the first season for one of Juliet's, I guess, childhood toys. Is that a horse or something? So I'm assuming that's going to be the catalyst for her completely jogging her memory back, right?
I don't know if you clocked this, but the woman that has the badge, if you hit the Apple stole it from Amazon, you can hit the insight button and it tells you who's on screen. That's Regina. And so Regina has that badge and trades it. Regina was George's ex, who is Juliet's now ex, because spoilers, he's dead. And so,
gotcha. So not a brand new character. She was in season 2, but yeah, a little bit more minor there. Maybe gets a little bit more of a role here.
Right. And I took this more as she's become such a celebrity that two things. One, relics aren't as bad. We're trading them out in the open. Although, by definition, these are relics that are Juliet stuff, so they wouldn't be before the rebellion or revolution. So I guess maybe relic is the wrong word. I just took this as a point of contention, or a point that she is now a celebrity, and so her children toys matter. Her badge, I would argue that was a poor trade, though. That badge I would much rather have than... And the girl with the stuffed animals, I think she played with this as a child. She may have sat on it when she was at preschool. I don't... I keep the badge. This is a bad trade on Regina. That's why George left her. Rumor has it,
The badge is much more shiny. But I feel like this toy was in the flashback episodes, right? In season 2, I believe so. Yeah. So this is relatively poignant, and I imagine that's going to be the flood of memories coming back for Juliet. And I guess the idea is is Regina doing this just for extra coin? I would argue probably not. I just can't remember where those two characters left in season 2. If they were kind of more cordial and had a better relationship, and that maybe Regina would be going out on a limb to try to help Juliet.
I don't think so. I think they left... The scene was where Regina hands, I believe, Juliet the book on Georgia. So I think this is just Regina getting her relics...
Get her beak wet?
Yeah, her relics game. But the fact that they clocked her... and that Juliet clocked her is almost like she's trying to remember. I'm sure this is going to come into play later.
Here's your report.
Oh, thanks, Jane.
I wish I could hire someone just like you.
Try LinkedIn Hiring Pro. It's more than a job board. It's like the recruiter you always wished you had. Hiring Pro uses real-time insights to match your role to LinkedIn's unique network of professionals and delivers a short list of best fit candidates. You'll spend less time sorting applicants and more time talking to the right people.
Let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
This summer, Prime Video takes you back before Legally Blonde, before law school, and into the world of Elle Woods in high school. Set in 1995, this Gemini vegetarian knows exactly who she is until her family moves from Bel Air to Seattle. Packed with iconic fashion, 90s nostalgia, and a throwback soundtrack, Elle proves one thing. Law school was hard. High school was harder. From the world of Legally Blonde, watch Elle, a new original series only on Prime Video. Watch now.
Speaking of things that are going to come into play, we've got a nightmare, Tom. Tom, how are your nightmares? Do you want to maybe share some of them with just me?
They're better. They're better. Well, as long as you don't tell anybody. I've had some recurring ones. But yeah, these aren't necessarily ultimately nightmares, right? She sees them as nightmares, but as an audience know, they are clearly memories.
Sure. Do you think the same way about your nightmares, Tom? Do you think they're also memories? That big gummy bear that swallows you every night, and you remember that one you shared? Do you want to share that with the group? No.
I mean, it's a Sour Patch Kids, so it's a sore subject.
Well, that's why you're eating a giant pack of Sour Patch Kids every night before going to bed. I'm not a doctor, Tom, but I can tell you that's what's wrong with you. Anyways,
and my dentist doesn't like that either.
Juliet remembers Bernard, remembers being in the fire room, and then she ultimately goes and talks to Camille about it. I feel like Camille and everyone is just on standby for any time Juliet remembers something so that they can, dose her so that she forgets, or I guess they're just trying to contain what she's sharing and what she's remembering, right? They're tracking it.
Yes, I think so. And if she does let something slip, they want to be able to kind of clock it so then they can spin it, I guess, to their means.
Right. And ultimately, we are brought back to Juliet is supposed to remember to do something, and it has to do with saving the people in the silo, and she just can't remember it.
Did you remember what that really was?
Do I remember what Juliet has to do in order to save the silo?
Correct.
Yeah, of course I do. I'm not gonna tell you, but of course I do. Yeah. Is this a trivia question, Tom? Are we playing trivia again? Because I've got all the answers, my friend.
No, I think the whole idea is that she specifically came back to the silo of knowing how to cap the pipes that are the protocol or I can't remember
the safeguard.
The safeguard, yeah. So she was telling Bernard hey, there is something we can do to stop them from being able to take out the cell silo. So that is, I think, what she's chasing and trying to remember.
Okay, well that makes no. That's what I remembered as well. That was good. You said it first. I was going to do the thing where we say it on 3, but you said it first. So good thing you and I are both on the same page.
Yeah.
I love how she's like, I just wish I could talk to Bernard, and Bernard's memory is just getting drugged through the mud. Not that he was a good guy, No. I mean, you obviously have mentioned that you thought a lot of his politics were right, and you would have voted for him a third time. But
he had his moments.
He had his moments of clarity. But I like that they're just you can't talk to him, all right? He's dead. I don't know how many times we got to tell you this, Juliet, but Bernard's dead. In fact, you killed him. In fact, you asking about him probably is what killed him, if we're being honest.
But we do get the whole back and forth conversation is great, and we talked about this in the recap that the fire suit was essentially what saved Juliet, because we know Bernard survived this, but obviously nowhere near to the extent of which Juliet having this fire suit. So that was for the win. But then, we get Sims essentially sharing this, what we find out very quickly, it was a lie of the story saying that they incinerated the body almost right after all this happened. It took 6 porters, 6 hours. I felt like they needed to have Patricia in this moment, taking the body all the way down to the incinerator. You need to have somebody with a shotgun on the body the whole time, just in case.
Yep.
Another Widow's Bay
Patricia,
reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved how just very cover up this all is about how quickly you're going to just essentially get rid of the evidence.
First off, if you've ever watched the Nate Bargatze SNL water slide sketch. We could cut that 6 hours down real quick. He's dead, by the way. You just toss the body off the ledge. He get to the incinerator super quick, honestly. And you just have a bunch of kids being like, "Oh, look, he's flying." You know, I don't. How hard is this? Set that slide up again, Tom. Yes,
I was
exactly.
Gonna say,
you love the slide.
They had that one big celebration where they had the slide. Just install the slide, push the body down. Everybody can kind of say their goodbyes as it's going down very quickly. Much more productive.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. So, and this is, she was talking to Camille, and then obviously she ends up talking to Sims. We get Common's back. I love that Common's back.
So Common.
And I think we talked about this in trivia, the importance of the firefighting suit. So I like that they did that, and that it had some sort of like meaning, because otherwise we spent a bunch of time in that other silo last season for no reason at all. But did you get the sense that this body being not thrown but walked, much to our dismay, were they getting rid of his body because it could be evidence? Because they like bring up the poison, and that's why they need to incinerate it. But did you get the sense that they were getting rid of this body so that no one would, I guess, autopsy it? Although Daddy Doctor's in like a million pieces, so who knows who's doing the autopsy, you know?
Yeah, I think that was definitely my take, is they just didn't want any questions to be asked or anybody else to look into this, so they are just trying to get rid of the body in the guise of, the poison safety.
That's right. And we've already talked about it, but Sims is Judge.
My name is Judge.
Thank you, Judge Reinhold.
His name is Judge.
From Arrested Development. All right. What was this weird passive-aggressive thing from Sims where he was like, "Hey, when you remember, I hope you can tell me why you held a gun on my wife and son"? What was this about? Why did he do that? Because they are building her memory from scratch. And I don't know if this is just him trying to establish like guilt on her part so she will listen to him and can continue to confide in him. And I don't know, is this him being like, "Listen, I'm sacrificing what I want revenge, and I'm sacrificing that in this moment to try and help you, so I'm on your team"? What was this weirdness? I did not understand why he brought this up. Let me rephrase. I've had my wife and children taken hostage dozens of times. I don't bring it up. Forgive and forget. You move on. What is Sims doing here, Tom?
No, I'm with you. I've definitely found it weird, because if she does have no memory, then why are you bringing this up outside of potentially like this guilt trip thing? But yeah, I don't know. Sims is definitely, Common is being very Common in this moment, where he's very monotone. He's kind of delivering this thing. But this is as angry as Common gets here.
Listen, I will not. If you're going to disparage my boy Common, I will get upset. Common is doing the Lord's work in this show. I love every bit of it. Here's what I would pose to you, Tom. When we watch Camille talking with Juliet, Sims is watching through a camera. My assumption is, after Camille got taken hostage and the son got taken hostage, she gave Common an earful about like, "Hey, why didn't you protect us? This is your fault." And so this is the moment. He's probably on camera. He knows Camille's watching. So he's doing this for Camille, where he's like, "Listen, I was going to murder you, but a lot of people told me I shouldn't because you took my wife and son hostage." So I think that's what he's doing. I think he knows she's watching, because Camille is head of IT and she watches everything, right?
It's true. She does have access to all these cameras.
Is this where we get the quick cut of Sims murdering Bernard? I believe that's what I wrote down in the outline.
Yeah, just some light little pillow talk, essentially.
Some little pillow talk? What do you mean? Because he's holding the plastic over his face?
Oh, I guess it was plastic. Sorry, I was thinking it was a pillow. My head's still in Widow's Bay mode.
Tom,
yeah, I guess he does put plastic over his head.
Tom, what do you put your head on when you sleep? Is it a plastic bag, my guy?
You don't sleep on a plastic bag?
Listen,
that the pillow comes in?
I can't host this thing alone, so I need you to switch from a plastic bag to a pillow, my friend.
Fine.
Please don't die. All right.
I've had plastic on my furniture for years, man. My furniture looks so great. It's very comfortable. It squeaks a lot, but it looks fantastic underneath.
In Arizona, you get sweaty, you slide right off of it. That's okay, listen, I want to go back to you being mean to Common, because this rolls right into Sim's speech, where he's like, listen, and I don't know if you remember this, but we told in season 1 and 2, we were like, Common signed on to the show as long as he gets to give a speech to a crowd once an episode, and this was his moment. He was like, listen, I know I've been telling you guys a lot about IBM Watson and how it can change your business. I'm here to talk about something else. It's a time for change. He's like, we're doing transparency now, much like everyone's pillowcases, which I don't know if you guys know Tom, the podcaster, but he sleeps on one and he's doing pretty well. But we've got transparency in plastic. We've got transparency in power. He's like, oh, by the way, Bernard, pretty bad dude. I went along with it because he told me it was cool, but he had too much power. Now me and my wife, we're going to be super transparent about all the power we hold as the judge and the head of IT. I thought this was interesting. This was like, hey, we're introducing democracy to the silo, and we're going to do it through Common stage voice. It was great.
Well, and the general idea of this being Common and so you got me calling him Common now. This being Sims and Camille, this being their idea, but I don't think it ultimately is. I think they are just doing this stuff on behalf of kind of the algorithm that is pushing Camille to do these different things. Because otherwise, if Bernard tried to do some of this stuff about rewriting the pact or removing cameras and all this other stuff, I can't imagine it would have flown in the original silo. But I would assume the algorithm is just kind of calling some audibles here and just trying to do whatever they can to keep the silo on path.
First off, Tom, do you think the pact is actually being rewritten? I just want to point out how weird Billings is through this whole episode. He's real docile. He's not real comfortable with what's happening. Second, buddy, I got a bridge to sell you if you think any of the Camerons have been removed anywhere. They may have gotten moved to a different location, but they're still watching everyone. So this transparency... listen,
it is all for show. Yeah,
very different from our government. Our government, full transparency, not watching us, not clocking us, certainly not sending you and I hateful emails. But this government, definitely not doing what they're saying. And by that, I mean Sims and Camille.
By the people, for the people, and going to watch you the whole way.
Happy 4th, baby. Happy 4th.
I do like how we do end the sequence of Sims giving this whole speech, and then it ends with Juliet gaveling in the session. And I would assume she would have had a little flashbacks to the gavel gun that we discussed during the recap. But
She's
I guess she didn't.
The murder
she
weapon,
didn't experience.
Yeah. That'll only make sense for people that watch the Silo trivia. Everyone else has just hearing what a gavel gun is for the first time. But so the ideal of this council is they've brought in section heads from, I've got questions about the mines, Tom. I've always got questions about the mines. But recycling, mechanical, some of these people we know, some of them we don't. But essentially this is their way of placating this rebellion, relatively bloodless, other than Dr. Daddy, who once again is in a trillion pieces. This was the solution from Sims and Camille to kind of placate, right? That's the sense you're getting?
Yes, very much. And yeah, we get the head of the mines, played by, or I think the character's name is Ed Harwood. This dude is just disheveled and rad. I loved him.
No, he's great. He's definitely a guy that's run the mines for 40 years, and I did not want to mess with him. He seemed very unpleasant, especially because everyone gets sent there as punishment. So he's essentially a prison warden, right? That's what he's doing down there.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess that's true too.
He's he gets up and he goes, "We are miners. We are mining." Probably the best speech anyone's ever given. Common could take some notes. Now you see, you've got me doing it. No, Common's beautiful. He's beautiful. He's doing a great job as Judge Sims. I love him. We get some information, and I don't know whether or not this stuff is worth clocking, whether or not it's going to come into play, whether or not it's just trying to round out our world. But the head of the mines, who wasn't in any of the other seasons, is talking about, and he doesn't really bring it up. Camille questions him on it, but there's an accident. Some tunnels collapsed, and he says something like, listen, I know none of us know how old it's here, but based on the amount of tunnels, this silo has been around for 300 years, and also the pact limits we can only go 200 feet out from the silo, which Explain to me, Tom. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Why can I only tunnel 200 feet from the silo?
Well, we have seen, I mean, this whole area is just riddled with silos, right? There's 50 silos
Lousy
in the
with
area.
them.
Yeah, so if these silo mines start going too far in one direction or another, it's very plausible that they could run into each other or, heaven forbid, actually run into another silo. So I think that's why they limit how far they can go. And it's funny that Jules essentially kind of calls this out, say, hey, maybe this is also something that we should look into in terms of pack changes.
Yeah, and you'll notice Billings is like, sure, writes nothing down. Guy doesn't even have a notepad in front of us. What's happened with Billings? Has the syndrome like crushed his soul? I love Billings as a character. We loved him, although he didn't get much to do in season 2. What have they've ruined Billings? They've really made him docile, and I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, maybe he's taking some of that vitamin C as well. I'm assuming he's just very uncomfortable because he's not good in crowds and like more timid and stuff like that. But he was a fantastic character and a great sheriff in his own right. So I'm excited to see him hopefully play a little bit more in this arena.
Right. We get a report from Supply. And I did not catch this character's name, Tom. Who is this?
Yeah, I believe it's Arla Kent is her name, and she's essentially taking over for Carla. So I don't know if Carla is the actress, just didn't want to come back for the season, or they're just trying to bring in some new blood, but they're definitely focusing more so on the Supply kind of wing of the silo in this season, it seems.
And Carla was Walker's ex, right? They were previously in a romantic relationship years, and Walker is our buddy down in the fix-it shop, recycling, I guess?
Recycling, yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got it, okay.
This summer, serve up the Cookout Classics, Kraft Mayo and Dressing. Toss green salads with delicious ranch dressing or zesty Italian. Serve smooth, craveably creamy potato salads with mayo. We all know it's not a cookout without Kraft.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
And Knox is back. Love to see Mr. Handsome Knox. He's back. He's now head of mechanical, which I think he was kind of before, which is great. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, generator's all good. I don't know if you guys remembered when Juliet took that grinder to that blade and that fixed everything, because that's how generators work. He does mention there was a digger area that Walker took it upon herself to seal because there were a bunch of look-see-loosies, which is a term everyone should start using, going down there, and they had to be rescued. Was this George's area? Is that what this is?
That was my take. I think he called the Digger Void, which would make the most sense for what we have seen in this area. Fantastic name. But yeah, I think, was it Kennedy? Did he start getting close to that area? So maybe they're kind of closing it off so he doesn't do any sort of shenanigans, because we find out here in a little bit that he seems to be running some sort of new mini rebellion.
Okay, so let's do some conjecture. If you'll recall, Kennedy got shot at one point, and while they were searching for him, Billings finds him in a tunnel. Mm-hmm. And the only tunnels we know of, since we didn't know the mines were truly a real thing in season 1 and 2, was the area that Juliet and George used to go to. Mm-hmm. Digger Void to me would make sense because the drill was still down there, which we get some drill talk in the before times, which I'd like to explore. So, would it be possible that Mechanical, with Walker being in charge, has hidden Kennedy and his rebellion, or that rebellion is a little bit on pause, or at least that's where they're headquartered now? Would that make sense?
I think so. I can't remember. I know Billings had a conversation with Kennedy at one point when he was kind of down in that area. But we know the last time we saw Kennedy, he was in the Down Deep. So if they're using this as a guise to potentially house Kennedy, and maybe he's in George's old little kind of house type area because he had a bed and some other stuff down there, I think that could be interesting.
Also, I think it's great because no one from the tippy top is going to go down to the down deep to check. They're just going to take Knox's word for it. He's like, hey, Walker sealed it off. We definitely don't have a cotton candy machine and a shaved ice maker down there. And is it free? No. We definitely sealed it off. Nothing fun is happening down there. So please don't come and verify. And they're like, cool, Knox. You've never been a part of a rebellion before. So we're just going to take your word for it.
Yep.
Our boy Billings, he gets his time to report. He stands up, he goes, crime is down, and he sits down.
he sits like he deals with crime. Down.
He's like, much like I'm about to do, crime is down, and then he sits. And everyone at the committee's like, what? We don't understand. And he's like, he stands up, and they're like, oh, crime is on the rise. And he's like, no. I'm sitting up to address you again. Watch, when I sit down, crime is going down. And they're like, that's really confusing. Why didn't you just say that? And he goes, I did. But anyways, let's move on. What's going on? I just want to... I hope they explore Billings. I hope he's not just going to get sidelined. I want him to be consequential in this story because I enjoyed him.
Yeah. But like you said, though, like I think Billings does bring up, or like Camille asks, like, where are we at with both Patrick Kennedy and Lucas Kyle? And then we get the name of this, like, I guess this new mini rebellion they're called the Outsiders. So we see a little bit of them on this episode, and interested to see, at what extent are Lucas Kyle and Patrick Kennedy in charge of this group, and what are they ultimately after? Yeah,
or are they just names that were in the previous rebellion, and we're carrying that over because we've, we're trying to keep the peace right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that bullet hole, it didn't look like it was done by a gavel gun, but it looked pretty bad when they found Patrick Kennedy in season 2. So who knows? Mm-hmm. We get a little bit of a mechanical reunion. They're like walking down the stairs, and Juliet, who's now too cool for any of her old friends, Knox is like, hey, do you remember me? Do you remember anything? Do you remember the outside? And she's just like, nope, don't remember anything. And Camille kind of, once again, very much a handler, like slides in, is like, hey, she's not taking any questions right now. She's definitely going to run for a second term, though, so don't be worried.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Camille just very much puppet master, holding the strings.
What are we to take from this, like, the head of mine and the new head of supply being at odds? Because a young person has stepped into, a seasoned person's role. The head of the mines is, like, bothered by that. Tom, I feel like this is the right question for you. Why would an old dude be upset that a young female took charge of something? You've brought this up to me several times as we've been friends for a number of years. Can you help me understand this?
Yeah, I don't know why there's nothing specifically said in these conversations about, like, is supply not providing something for mines, or is it just this generational divide or sexist divide? I don't know what it is, but they've got some beef that we're going to work through.
But you're on
any hot takes?
The gentleman from the mine side. You're on his side, right? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Listen, it's too early to take sides. I don't know yet. I don't know what I don't know. I'm not going to take sides.
That's what you'll get for us. We won't give you the right answer. We'll
put a pin in it.
We'll put a pin in it and be wrong later.
We'll clock it. Yeah.
All right. So this is also Juliet's, like, taking a tour of the repairs, right? And I clocked it, and I don't know why I remember this, but in the pact, you are not allowed to use things, like, there's a reason there's no elevators. You're not allowed to use a mechanical lift to go up and down. And what we see here is the repair work. All these people are on these, like, lifts going up and down, right? Am I remembering that correct? You can't.
Yes.
You can use it for, like, materials, but not for people. And these people are definitely, like, honestly, I would never get on one of these swings. They look terrifying. There's no way.
Yeah, I think it's all a part of this pact, and they're just, by not having, like, elevators and things like that, they're able to control the people a lot more. Silo. So that's where, again, if they're doing a lot of the stuff that is very much against the pact and what we assume is the pact for all the other silos, then this has got to be at the behest algorithm in some form or fashion, telling Camille, like, hey, these are the things that you can do, but don't go too crazy with them. And then we do find out, like, Shirley is essentially leading this effort. So she is a leader in her own right and leading these reconstruction efforts.
Were Shirley and Knox in a romantic relationship? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, I believe they did have some kissy scenes.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. Yeah. Okay. We are a podcast for children, so that's as vulgar as we get. Kissy. I did notice they dropped several F-bombs during this episode. It was a little bit jarring. I don't remember that from season 1 and 2. I don't know. Maybe Graham Yost clicked off safe for a little while. I'm not bothered by it, to each their own. But there were some, I don't know, Tom, it hurt me a little bit. But it is what it is.
Mechanical Man, they're gruff.
They are gruff. That's
true. They use rough language.
Juliet does not remember Shirley, which Shirley does not take well, as one... if you and I ran into each other and you didn't remember me, I'd be okay with it. If I didn't remember you, you would be sad. I understand that. And then I just wrote in the... somewhere in here I wrote, why is Billings so weird? I don't even know how that applies to this moment, but apparently I really had thoughts on Billings as I wrote this outline.
Yeah, Billings has got to turn around. We got to get more to him. He was just too great of a character. Well, we'll get more.
Right. We have Hanks, who is back. He's done touring as...
He's just Hank. He's not Tom Hanks.
What?
He's just Hank. I think that's his first name. He's not Hanks. He's not like a Tom Hanks.
Hank Hanks is his full name, Tom. We've established that. It's canon.
Like George, okay.
This was maybe the most stilted dialogue in the whole episode, and I had problems with it. And once again, I don't know if they're just trying to, is she taking the stuff from Equilibrium as well as the stuff on Memory Hold? Because she's like, oh, is this where my dad died? I heard that he was able to make the rebellion successful. And she says it in such a monotone that you're like, bro, if my dad blew up in a bombing, I'd be mildly upset, No, I'd be more than mildly upset. I love my dad. But, this was just weird. And she seems so ineffective, and Hank's like, hey, he wasn't supposed to get blown up. We, rigged it this way. And Juliet's like, yeah, that's cool. I don't really care about the details. It's just, okay, so this is where it happened. This was all very weird, right?
No, I'm 1,000% with you. I clocked it too. I think it was a very strange reaction that she would be so monotone about this. I get that she doesn't have her memory. She doesn't necessarily even know what her father looked like. But to be so kind of callous and cold was kind of brutal. But I'm assuming this is just... is Julia the character, she's going to find out at some point once she gets her memory back, and this is all going to flood into her about the loss of her father and what her father did. Hank will probably have a follow-up conversation with her and essentially say his father's dying words, say I loved her, I was proud of her, let her know that. So I think I want that moment to be more impactful, where if she kind of has that emotional moment here when she really doesn't remember, it's not going to be as powerful as it might be later.
Right. And this is also maybe, I don't know, it's a little bit clumsy, but this is also a moment for them to be like, hey, the reason your dad died was because of Bernard. He was the reason all the bad stuff happened, and now he's gone. So there's no reason to hold anyone else accountable. Everyone's cool now. So I that's the sense I got from the show, but it felt a little bit clumsy. And also, I guess I just don't understand how memory loss works in this silo, because it seems to have taken some emotion as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's, again, there's degrees of this motion or this memory loss, right? It's in the water is the bare minimum, and then they are essentially kind of playing with dynamite here in terms of how much dosage-wise they're giving to Juliet. And seeing her so calm and docile, I think is almost the most jarring part of all of this, because we know her as such a strong, powerful character that we want to see that back.
Right. And I just, while we're still recording on record, Dad, if you ever listen to this, I would be super sad if you blew up in a bombing in the silo. I just want that on record. So
agreed.
But no one from my family ever listens, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, we get a quick cut of some mass people assaulting a raider and then breaking down a door. And I believe this is mentioned later. Is this them going into supply or IT? What were they raiding in this moment, Tom?
I don't know if I clocked it, but yeah, maybe it was supply. They were trying to take something, because is it Orla? She's our new character. Did she kind of have, I know there's a scene later with supply where she's saying something went missing or something like that, but I don't know if I clocked what these shenanigans or these hooligans were up to.
Okay, no, this is what it is. I remember now. So Billings and Juliet have a conversation later in the episode where some masked, they're called the Outsiders, broke into IT and they took one of the helmets for cleaning.
Oh, that's right.
And so now they've got their hands on that. So this is kind of intercut, and it happens really fast. And the only other thing to note is that one of the masked outsiders gets an arm, like, broken or something, so that gives IT and judicial something to look for. They're like, look for everyone with a broken arm. Break some arms while you're looking for that woman with a broken arm, they say. And then they're like, won't that make it a little bit more confusing? And then the person's like, don't question me or I'll break your arm. And then they're like, great, we've got our suspect in hand. This woman has a broken arm that I just broke. So that all works. Let's talk. There's a quick Shirley and Knox conversation that happens here. And this is Shirley dealing with Juliet not remembering her. And this is where it's pointed out that it's been 3 months. Juliet doesn't remember anything. And then Juliet approaches Shirley and is like, hey, Camille told me we used to be friends. I'm having these nightmares about Bernard. Did you and I ever talk about it? And Shirley, as most friends does, she takes some time to sit with Juliet and they like talk through it. And she's like, no, explain it to me. Let's dive into it a little bit deeper. This is not at all what Shirley does. Shirley's like, can't help you, and walks away. And I was like, I don't understand, Shirley. This is, once again, this is a showism. Let's communicate for just a couple more minutes, please, and maybe we can work some of this out.
Yeah, I don't know. She was always kind of like that character that was a little bit more like kind of gruff and didn't have these like strong relationships, but like Shirley and Juliet were close. So why is she not trying to do everything she possibly can to help her and jog her memory? Unless she's been threatened by Sims or others to not say anything. I'm with you. I didn't love Shirley here.
Yeah, that's true. There may be some coercion going on, although, I mean, Shirley does not seem to be one that would be coerced easily. And Knox seems to be involved and like buying in. So although he may have lied about the Digger Void, so, you know, we don't know that. So a lot of questions there. And once again, I don't know if this was confusing storytelling or just confusion for the sake of storytelling, where it's like this will be like worked out later. I'm trusting in this show that they will because of how it's been written previously. But I was just confused by all this. There is a conversation about, and you brought it up a little while ago, about supply has been having some things stolen, some critical supply stuff, but I don't think we get details on that. And so just things that are happening in the background of the silo that I'm assuming will come into play. And something tells me this rebellion isn't done. You know what I mean?
Yes, I am 1,000% with you. Because I think in like, what are these, another scene we get them when they did take this other stuff, they kind of put up a banner, and that banner says like, you know, the display is a lie, kind of the thing we got from the original episode or the original season. So again, as Juliet sees this, more memories start to kind of flood into her mind.
Right. And we're assuming the banner put up is this. It's all the same masked people that we're calling the outsiders. That's correct?
Yes, I think, yeah. All the new hooligans running throughout the silo, no longer the rebels. The rebellion is essentially over, and these are these outsiders.
Okay. And no one from the silo that was with Juliet in 17 came with her, right? It's Juliet was the only one that returned, correct, Tom?
Just her, yep. Silo 17 is still out there. She at least solved their problem, so they'll be able to sustain for a little while. But yeah, we don't know what Silo 17 is up to.
Okay. And I bring up coming from the other silo because Juliet and Camille have this conversation, and it seems like Juliet is continuing to try and jog her memory. So she's spending time at that door where her and Bernard were in like the fire room, and she's like asking Camille, how did I get in? Like, how did I get through the doors? And so once again, I find what Camille is doing and how she's trying to shape this interesting because she gives her not the right answer.
Yeah, she ultimately like shows her footage of like her camera, which we know is a lie because it's not where she ultimately went, because it looks like she just went to some sort of supply hut or something on the other side of the bend, and that's where she's saying she spent all that time before she came back.
And she got in with a crowbar, which where'd the crowbar come from, Tom? Who's crowbar? I don't.
That's a great question.
Let's dive into this a little bit more. You know what? I don't know.
It's Steve from gardening. He works outside.
Steve from gardening. Oh, yes. He was digging all those weeds up with a crowbar, as one does. Revealing a lot about yourself and your yard work ability, Tom.
I struggle. Yeah, dishwashers in IT, crowbars in gardening. You know how it is.
Because in this conversation, Juliet says to her, "I think I went to another silo," and Camille's like, "No, you didn't. You did not." Like, I guess so. You think this is the algorithm pitching to Camille, like, "Hey, you got to make sure Juliet does not realize there are other silos. She cannot remember the other silos." Is that fair?
That would be my take. I mean, either it's Camille directly, and like, because we know she's going to have some sort of like reports, I would imagine, as the head of IT, what we saw Bernard doing, we saw her having this conversation with the algorithm. Either the algorithm is telling her to do this stuff, or it is okaying Camille's decisions to hide everything for Camille. But we did get, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but we get the conversation later where it is Camille and the algorithm, and it does seem like the algorithm is one pushing to like up her dose and like make sure she does not remember anything.
Right. Okay. And there's a weird cut where we get Orla, the new leader of supply, talking about how they're asking for more vitamin D shipments up top. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, is this just the memory suppression drug, but we're not calling it that? We're calling it vitamin D? Is that...
Yeah, that's got to be the case. Yeah. I didn't necessarily put those two together during the first watch, but now that you talk about that, I think that makes the most sense, especially where the conversation that's going to happen with Camille and this IT or AI thing.
If you've ever blasted synth beats from your boombox or burned CDs for your besties, this one's for you. As people get older, much like their music tastes, their health needs change. AG1 is the simple daily health drink designed to deliver over 75 essential daily nutrients and pre- and probiotics to support energy, digestion, and mood, so you can make the most out of every decade and dance break. Learn more at drinkag1.com.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
So we find out that Juliet loves soup, something I did not know about her, but in this episode, they're really establishing she loves soup. And I was like, cool show, thanks. So we see more vitamins. So there's 4 vitamins instead of the 2 from the original. So they're upping her dose, honestly. And then as she's going through her chowder, there's this giant pill. And I was like, oh no. These guys are so dumb. Instead of giving her multiple pills, they're now just giving her the memory suppressant drug in a giant pill. I was like, how is she going to swallow that? I was like, you can't put it in the powder or the chowder and her not notice it's a giant pill. I was so blown away by this, only to find out that there's a message inside the capsule. I was like livid. I was like, no show. Don't tell me that they were like up the dose and they give her this apple-sized pill that she's not supposed to notice in her chowder. I died.
At the very worst, if you're gonna do that, you'd open up the pill and just drop said contents into the chowder. But
yes.
Just like what the lead singer of Police told me, his message in the chowder, right? Isn't that the famous Police song by Sting?
Yes.
Message in the chowder.
Message in the chowder. I'm watching you. Yeah, I believe is the lyrics to that song. All right, what does the note say? The note says, if you want the truth, leave the bowl upside down and head to the marketplace. I was like, okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, and then burn the note, which she does brilliantly. I love this little sequence, like, because you don't get to know what's in the note until she turns the bowl upside down, gives it to the other guy, and the other guy's like, hey, why is this bowl upside down? He's like, don't worry about it. But then we go back to the note, and I love the mystery of it. And yeah, who is this? Who's helping out Juliet? I'm excited to find out.
Listen, my first question from the guy that delivers the chowder is, how did you eat that chowder so quickly? He delivered that. She turned that bowl over and gave it back to him within 45 seconds. I know we've established that she loves soup, but does anyone love chowder that much that they can finish a giant bowl in 45 seconds? Tom, I ask you the hard-hitting questions as a chowder head.
He did say, I'm not, no, thank you. I don't trust chowders. He did say, like, when he gave it to her, like, it was like either something new or a different recipe, and I can give you chicken noodle if you want. But she's like, no, I'll have it. So that's why I think he was hanging on by the front door for a little bit to see if she wanted a different meal. He was a very kind, I guess. I don't know. Is he a porter? Is he working in the kitchens? I don't know.
He works for Camille, that's for sure. He's up
probably
to no good. I just want to say about chowders, I used to love chicken corn chowder. I loved it from when I was a kid. I loved it from when I was an adult. I thought my child, my oldest, would also love it. I fed it to him when he was younger. He told me he hated it. I was like, you're going to finish that bowl. And then after he finished that bowl, 10 minutes later, he threw it all up on my face. And it was
What did you
disgusting.
learn?
I learned to listen to my son because he's smarter than me, and he is very particular about what he eats. And honestly, if you feed a kid soup, wear glasses afterwards because it will block the chowder as it hits your face and not get in your eyes.
Smart.
Because that's exactly what happened. Oh, it's disgusting. All right, so that's where we leave Juliet in the silo. Let's touch on the before times. Tom, is there anything you want to speak to? I think we've built it back up. It's like, when's Juliet going to remember things? To what extent are Sims and Camille? Like, what's their goal? They're just working for the algorithm at this point. And then who knows what within the people that have all been promoted into their new roles. You know, Billings, Orla, the head of the mines, Shirley, where's Kennedy and Walker? No Walker in this episode, which I thought was interesting because she's been pretty important for the show. I would, if you were like, Walker died in last season, I'd be like, okay, cool. But no, just like, I think that's where I'm at. I don't, they're going to unravel this for us. I don't know that I have any like giant burning questions other than those.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of like resetting where we're at, showing us the aftermath of what happened. I like the mini time jump going forward 3 months because it allows our characters to, kind of find their new spots, right? Like a lot of promotions and gives us a lot of the mystery box still. From what I've read in reviews, like the reviews of the season have been very good, but I do think it's like relatively slow burnish kind of stuff where we're going to try to figure out more mysteries. But everything that I've read has been super high praises for the series, and especially the last 2 episodes. So I'm here for it. I'm excited to be back. And then let's jump to before times because I'm interested to see how you took this, especially as a book reader and knowing kind of what happens and all this before time stuff. I'm very interested to see how it hit you.
Okay, sure. So we're in the before times. It's in Washington, D.C., and this Congressman Keene, we met at the end of season 2 in the diner with the reporter, and we find out the reporter's name is Helen Drew. In this episode, he meets with a woman, and we get kind of this drawn-out like spy train sequence, but we find out, according to the show, what they tell us is this is his sister named Charlotte. He calls her Charlie, and this secret meeting with them happens outside. We're reminded he's a junior congressman from Georgia, and she is a pilot in the Navy. And this is important because they play some Top Gun Maverick for us in this episode.
Yeah.
And she is a F-35 pilot, which super cool plane. Got it. These two talk to each other like no siblings I've ever met. I just want to clock that. She's like, she like threatens to punch him in the throat. She like wants him to do a bunch of super secret stuff so that no one can clock their meeting. It's like, ma'am, you're an F-35 pilot, which is super cool, but you're not Jason Bourne. Like, what's with all the secrecy? And I guess we find out that she is the one that like pointed the reporter to him in terms of she wanted that reporter to speak with him directly because of what is brewing with Iran and the retaliation, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Because like essentially this conversation is like, hey, get on this Iran committee that's being run by this Senator Thurman. Like you're going to want to be involved in that. And then, essentially tell this reporter everything you can about what you know. Because I think he's actually like a freshman congressman. Like I think this is like his first soiree into Congress and being in DC. So he's just trying to potentially get a leg up. And we get some interesting nuggets coming up here about why he might get a leg up when he talks to Senator Thurmond.
So this is weird to me. She's like, did you take 2 trains, 2 cabs, circle back and like meet me here? And she's doing all this secret, but ultimately she's like, I want you to join a committee so you can leak things to reporters. So we're like being super secret, but also we want you to leak things to reporters, which I don't know why. And the implication later on in this like sequence is that she is going to be part of the attack force that's going to retaliate against Iran. And the congressman, he's like, is my little sister about to bomb Iran? And, before we get into Congressman or Senator Thurmond, Tom, I just wanted a couple of things. During this conversation with these two on the bench, they both at a certain point do hand motions. She like scratches her like chest or shoulder. He does like a movement. It's almost like these two are trying to cheat at a poker game and they're trying to give each other like hand and arm signals. And then the other thing is they finish each other's sentences about like their parent. He's like, oh, if mom and dad could hear you now, and together they like crawl out of their graves, which is a really weird thing to say. I don't know. I found the communication between these two a little bit confusing in terms of how siblings interact. But honestly, I've never had a sister who drops nuclear bombs on, foreign countries. So I don't know. Maybe
you've only had brothers that do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, they did use those hand signals at the end of the conversation, which I'm sure you and your brothers
Well,
do
that
as well.
was a different hand signal. And they both were like, oh, my bro's going to give me the finger. And he's like, oh, sis is going to give me the finger. I did not understand any of that. Anyways, this leads to, in an attempt to get on the committee, Keene goes to talk to Senator Thurmond, and Senator Thurmond has a daughter named Anna that works on her like policy writing and is very much involved in this meeting. And he makes a play to get on this committee, even though he's clearly unqualified. And Senator Thurmond has done her homework, and it's mentioned he was in like the Army Corps of Engineers, and they did some work in New Orleans, I guess after a flood. That's the assumption, like post-Katrina or post-Katrina-like.
Yeah, and essentially he just is involved in some sort of like drill that doesn't disturb the soil or something like that. So for that to be specifically called out here, you imagine like whatever technology that Keene helped develop is how the silos ultimately get built.
Sure. But yeah, okay, cool. Drill, yeah. It'd be weird if they brought up that he developed a drill and it didn't come into play with the silos. I got it. I didn't understand why. This conversation I found weird because Senator Thurmond's like, oh, give me your elevator pitch as to why you should be on the committee. And he's like, well, my sister, Charlotte, flies F-35s from the Nimitz, which they call Uncle Charlie while they're flying, because it's Charles
Did they call
Nimitz.
it John McCain or something?
Well, John McCain fires the Tomahawks. So they're watching the John McCain, but he's like, she's on the Nimitz, which was just refurbished. Anyways, shouldn't his elevator pitch be how I can help you on the committee, not I'm worried I got this as he's like pitching it as, hey, I'm worried about my sister, so I want to be on the committee. Or is she taking it as, oh, his sister might know when she's going to drop bombs, and so why I did not I thought his elevator pitch was poor, I guess is what I would say.
No, I think that's all fair. Like, I feel he delivered it as an actor and as a congressman here. Like, the character delivered it really well and it sounded good, but I'm with you. Like, the motivation for why Thurmond would give this guy the time of day when she kind of said, like, hey, there's people waiting on the waiting list that are on the waiting list for this thing. It didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. But we do get the confirmation that ultimately there was some sort of dirty bomb attack by Iran in D.C., so this is all some sort of, like, retaliatory mission.
Right, but they're in D.C. now, so this wasn't like a world-changing event. This was just some sort of chemical bomb or dirty bomb, as they say. So our retaliation being of nuclear in nature, I would think, would be a little bit strong-handed, but we don't always act with restraint as the US of A, so who knows?
I mean, we do get in this next scene where they have this Iran operation. I think in like the chyron of the TV screen later on, it says Operation Righteous Freedom, Operation
my friend.
Righteous Vengeance, which I was going to say that was almost the name of our podcast, Operation Righteous Vengeance.
Yes, it would have been a great, the righteousness of our vengeance would have been heard by tens and tens of people. I don't know. So now we've got like a budget bursting shot of CGI airplanes flying through the sky. We're assuming Charlotte is about to bomb Iran. We see tomahawks flying, and once again, someone saw Top Gun Maverick, which is one of the coolest shots in cinema history in a while. The tomahawks going before Dagger 1 calls like mission go. But in this one, we get a weird cloud, very similar to Outer Range, Tom. Like, it's like leaking through the planes. It's like an oil-like substance. It's a goo. What is happening here, Tom? What is this?
I would also argue, I mean, I know what's happening, so I'm going to kind of hold it close to the vest here as a book reader. But, like, I would argue if you see a big cloud on your radar, I would maybe not fly through it, that you don't know what it is. But these fighter pilots, be danged, man, they go right into it.
That's why if you would have made Twister, it would have been about a 5-minute movie. You would have been just like, nope, we're not taking Dorothy into it. Let's turn this boat around. We'll figure out how God picks up shamans and kills them later, you know?
Yeah.
That's a Widow's Bay reference. That's like the third one, so hopefully you guys are all drinking. So you know what this substance is? Does this substance have anything to do with what they call a dirty bomb? Can you answer me that, or are you going to be coy and just tell me no?
I'll be coy just because I don't know exactly where the show's going with it. I mean, yeah, I want to be cautious with
that's fine.
I say.
Don't give it away, Tom. You keep your secrets. You hide them away, you little dwarf. You delve so deep with your secrets that you wake up a Balrog. That's fine. So he's, and I don't really know what the timeline is. This all happens very fast. They cut in and out of it, so it does, like, they're cutting from the silo to this, so you could pretend like some time has gone between these senator scenes, but all of a sudden he's walking in to talk to the senator, and she's like, hey, sorry to hear, but your sister was on a mission. I think she says something like, not on the sites around Iran like the news is saying, but she was rescued and she's okay. I want to say two things. This then leads us to some memory loss facility stuff, which I'm sure has relation to the show and the memory drug and those types of things. But earlier in the sequence of scenes, after Keene explains who his sister is to Anna and Senator Thurman, after he leaves the room, Senator Thurman was like, wait, who is his sister? And Anna repeats it all to her, almost like this senator has a little bit of some memory issues herself. So I don't know what's all happening here. I don't know how much I'm supposed to read into all of this. I hate that you know and that I don't. It makes me furious. But all of this for Anna to tell Congressman Keene, like, hey, we diverted your sister. She's in the Heidi Stinson facility to help with TBI, which
some brain injury stuff, yeah.
Right. All of us who have watched the NFL know what that is now. And then it's mentioned that Stinson is like a super rich guy and he funded this facility. So, I don't know if that name's going to come into play. But we've got like Iran retaliation, talks of nukes, and memory loss stuff all being wrapped up on a very global scale, and it makes me confused, Tom.
I mean, again, knowing where we are with the show in the silo, like, the idea is this is potentially setting up some sort of cataclysmic world event, right? So this facility that she ultimately goes to is pretty dope. It seems like a nice place to be. But then ultimately when Keene comes in and tries to talk to his sister and he kind of sees if she's okay, what her response is, who are you, right? Like the namesake of this episode. So the fact that we've got all the shenanigans going on with Jules in the previous episode, or in the silo, in the kind of now times, if you will, I'm with you. Like, I think it's definitely reminiscent of that storyline, and like, yeah, is is the sister, Charlotte, is she potentially being drugged? Do they develop this drug potentially in this facility? Who knows?
Sure. When we talk about these timelines, in all honesty, the before times is current times. So we should just call this current times, and we can call the silo the future, where we're headed. And that makes more sense. But yeah, listen, I'm compelled by what's happening in the silo because of the characters we know and enjoy. And I am interested in the mystery of what is happening in the outside world. And it seems like they are stretching for something more than just, hey, all of these silos exist because of a nuclear bomb. They're like stretching it into some other story, some other detailed thing, which I will find interesting as long as it's not a bunch of time spent only for a nuclear bomb to go off. Like if this stuff, this memory facility, this sister and brother combination, this Anna and Keen, they seem to be chummy. Like as long as there's stuff here that is worth watching, I'm interested in this storyline, although my heart, Tom, will always be in the silo.
Yeah, that's what I take. I'm very interested to see how they do this mix in this season, because this is what we talked about. Like, could there be some like lulls in the action if we are jumping back and forth too much between like two disparate storylines, and like, is it going to take too long for them to bring them together? But I will say, as a book reader, there's some really, really fascinating stuff that's happening in the before times that I'm excited to see kind of come to screen.
Okay, well, with that assurance, I will stick around and see where this all develops. Tom, any other thoughts as we close this down and wait for episode 2?
No, I don't think I've got anything else, man. Like I said, I think it's a great season opener. Sets a lot of the puzzle pieces kind of back into play, and excited to see where these characters go.
All right, well, let's go from there, and let's quickly dive into everyone's favorite Audience Corner. We appreciate the emails sent to us. You can reach us at teambingepodcast@gmail.com. We got a couple as we were transitioning from Widow's Bay to Silo. Kelly S. reached out to us, and it sounds like she's been joining us on Widow's Bay. And obviously, we've done a ton of Apple TV shows, so if you want to go back in the back catalog while we're working through Silo, After Party, Ted Lasso, what was the one where they were in the cube going through time and space, Tom? Dark Matter? That one was trippy. Yeah. If you enjoy weird Apple mystery shows, we've done most of them, so go back and re-listen to those. Also, nice to hear from Jessica S. She reached out, and it sounds like she's going to join us in the silo for a little while. And then, Tom, you had a couple of reviews to hit.
Yeah, we had, again, if you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, it's a great way for us to help gain an audience and let people know if you're having a fun time with us. So if you do leave us a 5-star review, we will try to read it on pod. We had a bunch that came in late on Widow's Bay, and for whatever reason, Apple threw that on like the bottom of the list and not kind of the top. So we apologize if you did leave one, but some we got recently from the Goth Carpenter. This guy is fantastic. He's been reaching out and listening to some of our back catalog. But he left us a very nice review saying we're a brilliant mix of comedy and deep analysis and great conversations. For some reason, he doesn't know your name, so in the review he calls you "Thank you, Tom and Jody," for all the laughs.
That's been my nickname for years. I'll take it.
And then we got another one from M. He said, "This show is what I need."
Mr. Man, Mr. Yes, yeah, we're familiar.
Yeah. Found us from Widow's Bay, but it said, again, this podcast, it's perfect. It's going over the details and deep diving into the theories that scratch my brain in the exact way I need. So, again, thank you for leaving those reviews. And if you did leave another 5-star review, we will make sure to continue reading them on pod. So definitely stay tuned.
Yep, thank you. And if you listen on Spotify, if you would, hit the follow as well as the 5 stars on that. That helps us. And just once again, we have a wonderful group of people that listen and reach out, and we love to hear from you. We love the participation. Silo is fun to theory craft. So if there were details we missed that you noticed and you want to talk about, if you get us an email between now and the next one, we will definitely cover it. Once again, that email is teambingepodcast@gmail.com.
Julian, we can't let people not know about our socials. Follow us at Team Binge or at Team Binge Podcast on Facebook. We actually just recently joined that, Julian. We haven't done that in the past. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. So let us know what your theories are. Obviously, be cautious if you did read the book. Don't try to gain internet points by kind of spoiling things. But yeah, let us know what you guys think on there and follow us along the whole season.
For Team Binge, I have been Julian.
And I am Tom. Till next week, everybody.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Ouch. This knee is killing me, but I can't stop training. The marathon is in 2 weeks.
Let's get on ZocDoc and find a doctor to take a look at that for you.
Okay.
Here's a review. Dr. Craddock really takes his time.
No, I don't have time.
What about Dr. Charles? His patients say he can help find a quick fix, and he's in network.
Great, now we're talking. Book it.
Booked. 1 mile down, 19 to go.
Bring it on.
You've got options. Download the ZocDoc app today.